Welcome to Night Errant. If you stumbled upon this and your dad just forgot to close the browser, walk away. This is not for you. This is a grown-ups program. I'm here with Robin, and we want to talk about Shadow War Armageddon. And mainly about Robin's experience venturing into the Prometheum Sprawl. Your first game ever was playing Chaos Marine. Oh, actually, not just Chaos Marines. You played Fallen Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Versus Dark Elder. So it was the Fallen versus the Fallen.
Yes, there was a lot of falling going on.
Yeah.
With a lot of spikes.
Yeah. Quite nasty, actually. Also, I seem to remember, but we will get to that. There was a single Alpha Legion operative. Anyway, what were your first impressions of the game, being a tournament player in 7th edition?
As compared to Warhammer or in general?
As compared to the current meta of 7th edition and how the gameplay felt.
I really like the feel of it being like small skirmishes between scout units or small units, something that takes place between the major battles, which they have managed to convey really well with the game, I have to say. It is the feel of there's a lot of shit going on around here. There are shells coming in from the battlefield 2 clicks down.
The medium scroll
like
table and stuff like that.
I really like the feel of it. I like the you get the sense that there's a lot going on around just moving the minis about and rolling dice. It lends itself really well to a narrative, part of something bigger, or in and of itself the narrative of this group just going through different missions, fighting different opponents in these ruins or wherever you're at. So it works in several ways, which actually impressed me, I have to say. I'm an old Necromunda player, so I have to compare it to that.
Oh, and if you're not, please go Google Necromunda, pause this video, and come back.
Yeah.
Oh, and when you come back, don't just pause. F5, give us an extra view, and watch to this point, and then we can continue.
They've basically taken Necromunda and they have turned it into a better game. They have a much better narrative feeling to it. They have a more streamlined game. It makes a lot more sense. It feels like it's been play tested much more than the original, than Necromunda had, which had a number of issues. It was entertaining. It was a good game, but it needed work.
Necromunda had cardboard terrain, and wasn't that about that?
It did. Well, it was a quick way to set something up. I mean, I made my own terrain back then as well.
Toilet paper rolls and cereal boxes.
Speak for yourself.
Oh.
I used Sprite bottles, so there.
Yeah, I'm like, what, a decade younger than you?
But I like the combination of the idea that the individual soldiers are still important. They develop all of them. You develop a feel for each of the minis in the game, and at the same time there's, on a larger scale, there's the development of the warband. What will you be up against? How do you balance this warband against what your opponents are going to feel?
We have a pretty good example in our current campaign, actually, where you're playing Astra Militarum.
It's the Imperial Guard.
Okay, you're playing the Guard.
You're in the Guard now, boy. Yeah.
Oh, actually, in our narrative, you're the Planetary Defense Force.
Yeah, an increasingly confused Planetary Defense Force.
and you're up against Inquisition warband,
yeah,
and Dark Elder witch. How would you pronounce?
Witch.
Which?
Yeah.
Which is which?
Which is which? I was wondering the same thing as they were cutting me to shreds.
But yeah, you're stuck in the middle between the Xenos hunter and the Xenos.
Yes, pretty much. But yeah, balancing your warband against what you expect to be up against makes a lot of sense in what you buy. Do you aim for more armor piercing or more shots, more reliable weapons, and so on and so on?
Yeah, I agree. I haven't found no-brainers like I've found in like in Mordheim, for instance. It was like, I have a shooty guy. He would like a crossbow, please.
Yeah.
My melee guy wants to have 2 weapons.
Well, needs to. Yeah. No, they've moved around that. There are fewer no-brainers, if any, I would have to say. Except if you're Imperial Guard, you need a flamer, preferably 2 of them.
You can have 3, you know.
Yes, well, I also want a sniper. Toxic rounds.
Anyhow, I want to go back to your first test game before we started the campaign.
Yes.
And I would like to hear a few scarred battle stories of how badass one might feel wearing power armor.
Yeah.
Can
I would say...
Cigarette me. Or as the... I might have gotten this wrong, but back in Event Horizon, speaking of dark sci-fi...
Uh-huh.
Remember that clip they catch from the Event Horizon?
Yeah.
Where he says... I think he actually says "Liberate me,"
Yes.
and I misheard it first time I saw it and got it to "cigarette me," and it's been stuck in my mind ever since. So when I want a cigarette, I have a tendency to just say "cigarette me,"
and feel vaguely like an emo Sam Neill.
No, because the original captain was not Sam Neill. That was some bald guy who looked very, very old.
Right, the video screens. Oh, that messed me up the first time I saw that. That was scary.
It's an awesome movie, by the way. I based several tabletop scenarios straight on that plot, and my players never noticed.
I have to say, very few movies scare me. That one did.
I had nightmares, and only time a movie gave me nightmares other than that was when I was 8 and saw the 8-passenger alien.
Right.
The first one.
Yeah. Why
And-
did they call it that? They weren't passengers. They worked on that ship. There was one passenger. Would not have made for as good a title, but the others were not passengers. Maybe the cat. The second passenger.
6 people hired to be there. 1 passenger, a cat, and then an alien.
That is an increasingly bad title. Still a good movie though.
Oh, that would be an awesome title though. Increasingly bad title.
Where were we?
That would be the name for this episode though. Increasingly bad title.
Hashtag. My first game, yes.
Yes.
Chaos Marines. I picked something for versatility. I figured Chaos Marines can do anything.
And you did something I will admire.
What's that?
From an Eldar player. You chose Undivided all over.
Course. Yes.
Because you were playing the Fallen Angels and they're actually not following any of the Chaos Gods.
Also, I figured that having +1 leadership would help me. And it did.
You chose a fluff thing.
Yes. But that was fun. So, first impressions of that. I really liked how the game sort of went
What
back
were
and
you
forth.
playing against?
Pardon me?
What were you playing against?
I was playing against the horror that was the Dark Eldar Witch cult thingy with all of the spiky bits. But the first thing that really got me... The first thing that really got me was the way the game sort of went back and forth. There were like 3 or 4 times where we were certain that one side would win, and then something changed, and it kept us on our toes, which was really cool. The less cool part was my heavy gunner, of course, who had a fantastic overview of most of the battlefield.
As I recall it, he managed to position himself in a huge ruin in the middle of the battlefield.
Up top. Yes, and of course, first thing that happens was that it was a Dark Eldar took a shot at him with a pistol and gave him a flesh wound, which I suppose I could blame that for the fact that he didn't hit a single thing for the rest of the game, except my own trooper at some point.
Yeah, no, not just a trooper. He shot into a melee with your leader versus 2 elves and managed to cap your leader right in the ear.
In his well-armored ear, thankfully. But yes, all he hit was my aspiring champion.
See, that is a battle I wish I had had a good camera for.
Oh, that was bad. And I realized just how horrible Dark Eldar are in close combat.
But no, they're not horrible.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
they're
they
just
are.
overpowered. Anyway, our technician says no.
Our technician might not be entirely objective here.
Our technician might play Dark. If you don't hear from us after this episode, please know that I love my son and my family very much, and that I'm very afraid of pointy, spiky knives.
I was a little bit shocked to see how inefficient power armor gets in Shadow War Armageddon.
Right there with
Because a witch with the right drugs hitting at strength 4 and an extra -2 on the armor save, and suddenly you're a power armor saves on a 6. For fairly common weapons, these chain hook
you.
thingies.
10 points. Come on, you paid 25 for your bolt pistol, and it's a lovely weapon.
Yes.
They paid another 20 for that splinter pistol of doom.
I don't want to think about how much I paid for the autocannon that did absolutely dick.
No, but Alfarius will, if you send him the bill, he'll be more than happy.
He was the last man standing.
We all agreed that the gunner was obviously an Alpha Legion agent, there to disrupt the fallen angels.
Yeah, he gained a level.
Yeah, because you had to. He was the only one not out of faction.
He had gladly helped the Dark Eldar take everyone else out.
Dear viewers, I wish you could see our camera woman right now. She is puking with laughter.
She's way too happy about how that went.
But then again, she's only lost versus Necrons, ever.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to the next fight between Imperial Guard and Dark Eldar. I have a feeling I won't be able to see them until they're turning me into a fucking kebab.
So, how would you handle that? Or what do you have at your disposal?
A lot of flashlights. The thing is, I have a very decent firing line. Sniper, grenade launcher, flamer, and a lot of las guns at ballistic skill 4.
And a sergeant who should be a nightman melee for everything except a Dark Eldar.
Funny you should mention that, yes. But the problem is that the Dark Eldar will hide all the way up until they're breathing down your neck, and then they will impale said neck with a number of sharp objects.
So, how would you counter that? Overwatch doesn't count.
Send in the rookies.
How would you counter a melee warband? Hiding, moving, hiding, moving. If you really, really can't handle them melee. Huh? I know my answer.
Run?
Send out a few guys, die en route. Actually, in my case it would be send out everything, make sure you win, then die en route.
Yeah, that got bloody.
Yeah, but that's why I need an orc warband. I need to be able to go all in. Oh, well, off track and all. So, all in all, Shadow War Armageddon. Are you hooked?
I am. I'm looking very much forward to seeing what will happen further on in the campaign.
And how many warbands do you plan to make?
About 14.
I think that they released 11.
Yes. But I'm not a quitter.
So, if you had to make 14 warbands, what would they be in
No, go on.
prioritized order? What would your 14 warbands be?
I really like the fact that you can make a warband with 10 miniatures and just go all out on them.
Yeah,
rather than in 40k where you need like 50 plus miniatures.
I mean, I bought a box of Dark Elder Witches, and I
Yeah.
will never do that again. I'm sorry.
I still haven't forgiven you.
I bought them while I was shopping for terrain, because my wife mentioned she
Yeah.
wanted some Dark Elder, and then I've ordered some Harlequins because I want to get her back, and I also bought a box of Genestealer cultists hybrids. And exactly, you can just go buy that one box
Yep.
and go to town.
Now, I'm planning to make Space Marine Scouts, an Orc Warband, Tau Warband, and Eldar, obviously.
I spent all my allowance actually on Cromlech Orc bits because I want to make a whole Goth Warband based on the Goth Rockers. Mohawks and top hats and bad chests and rock and roll. They're all gonna make Slash feel like he's kinda not doing it enough.
I'm looking very much forward to that one.
And I will of course paint them for the camera. Something with a lot of glam, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
So, that's it from us here. If you're still awake, then be very much ashamed because you have a day tomorrow. You have stuff you need to do, and I'm sure you have at least one